You know that feeling when you're exhausted, but your mind just won't switch off at night? Or when you wake up feeling like you haven't slept at all, even after 8 hours in bed? These aren't just random frustrations. They're signs that something fundamental isn't working properly in your body's most essential process. Welcome to your Mental Journey Guide. I'm Camilla, and today Henry and I are diving deep into something that affects literally every aspect of your life, but gets surprisingly little attention: your sleep-wake rhythm. It's so much more than just being tired or awake. It's the master controller of our energy, mood, and long-term health. Henry, it's great to have you here to dive into this with me.
It's great to be here, Camilla. This topic is so essential, and I feel it's becoming more critical every year. We live in a culture that often glorifies the hustle, wearing sleep deprivation like a badge of honor. But if people truly understood what was happening inside their brain and body during sleep, they would see it as the most productive thing they could possibly do. We tend to see it as a passive state, something we just do when we're done with the important stuff, but it's actually one of the most active and crucial processes for our mind and body.
I completely agree. It's like we view sleep as a luxury, not a biological necessity. But you're right, it's incredibly active. During sleep, our brain gets to work processing everything we've experienced during the day. All the sights, the sounds, the conversations, the emotions, it all gets sorted. Useful information gets filed away into our long-term memory, and it's connected to things we already know. It's like a mental filing clerk working the night shift, organizing the chaotic office of your mind from the day.
That's a perfect analogy, the mental filing clerk. And if that clerk doesn't get to work, the office is a mess the next day. You can't find anything, you feel disorganized, and simple tasks take forever. That's what brain fog is. But it's not just about filing away work documents or study notes. It's also about processing our emotional experiences. Sleep, particularly the REM sleep stage, helps to take the sharp, painful edge off difficult emotions. It's like therapy, but you do it every night. It separates the emotion from the memory, so you can learn from an experience without being constantly triggered by it.
That's so powerful. So when we say sleep on it before making a big emotional decision, there's real biological wisdom in that. And beyond the mind, you mentioned the body. What's happening on a physical level?
On a physical level, it's even more direct and maybe even more critical. Every day, just by living, breathing, and producing energy, our cells create metabolic byproducts, basically cellular waste. During the day, this waste builds up in our brain. Deep sleep activates a kind of cleaning system in the brain that flushes these toxins out. It's like the city's waste management crew that can only work at night when the streets are clear. If that cleaning crew doesn't run, the trash piles up. This process is crucial for preventing long-term neurodegenerative diseases. On top of that, sleep is when your body focuses on repair. Muscle tissue is rebuilt, cellular damage is fixed, and growth hormone is released. It's our body's best and most potent anti-aging tool.
And when that repair crew and cleaning crew don't get to work, the consequences can be pretty severe, and they show up much faster than we think. It's fascinating and also a bit scary how quickly things can go downhill with poor sleep. It completely undermines all the other healthy things you might be trying to do, turning your efforts into a real uphill battle.
Oh, absolutely. It's like trying to build a house on a shaky foundation. I remember a time when I was really focused on my fitness and trying to lose a bit of weight. I was eating well, hitting the gym 4 times a week, tracking everything. But my sleep was terrible because of a stressful project at work. I was maybe getting 5-6 hours a night. I wasn't seeing the results I wanted, my weight wasn't changing, and I felt weak during my workouts. Later, I learned that with significant sleep deprivation, your hormones go haywire. Your body produces more of the hunger hormone, ghrelin, and less of the satiety hormone, leptin. So you feel hungrier and less full. And as if that's not enough, your body's ability to handle sugar plummets, making you more insulin resistant. And if you do manage to lose weight, a huge portion of that loss, up to 70%, can come from lean muscle mass instead of fat. Your body literally starts eating away at your hard-earned muscles.
Wow, that's a huge percentage. So you're working hard to get stronger and healthier, but your lack of sleep is actively pushing you in the opposite direction. That is so counterintuitive for most people. I had a similar experience, but on the cognitive side. I was leading a project that required a lot of creative problem solving. I pulled a couple of late nights to meet a deadline, and the next day, I was useless. I would stare at a problem I knew I could solve, but my brain just wouldn't connect the dots. I was irritable, I couldn't focus, and my creativity was just gone. It was like the spark was completely out. I learned then that you can't force creativity out of an exhausted mind.
That's the perfect cognitive equivalent. Your brain's prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logical reasoning, problem solving, and emotional regulation, is extremely sensitive to a lack of sleep. It essentially goes offline. This is why we make poor decisions, are more emotionally reactive, and have less impulse control when we're tired. The physical capacity drop is also no joke. After just one night of sleeping 6 hours or less, your peak physical output, things like your strength, your aerobic capacity, can drop by as much as 30%. It explains why a workout can feel amazing one day and like an impossible task the next. It's often down to the quality of the previous night's sleep.
That is recognizable. And you blame yourself for not having enough willpower or for being lazy, but in reality, your body is simply not equipped to perform. It's a biological reality. And what about our immune system? We all know we're more likely to catch a cold when we're tired, but it goes deeper than that, doesn't it?
It goes much deeper. It's one of the most shocking statistics in sleep science. Our immune system has these incredible cells, often called natural killer cells, and their job is to seek out and destroy dangerous elements, like viruses, bacteria, and even cancer cells before they can form tumors. After just one night of poor sleep, the activity of these cells can drop by 70%. It's staggering. It's a massive drop in your body's first line of defense against cancer. Now, imagine the effect of chronic poor sleep over weeks, months, or years. It really puts into perspective how a chronic lack of sleep can contribute to serious long-term health risks. In fact, poor sleep is now recognized as one of the most significant lifestyle factors linked to the development of Alzheimer's disease. That brain cleaning system we mentioned? It's responsible for clearing out a protein called amyloid beta, which is the plaque that builds up in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. Without sufficient deep sleep, that plaque accumulates year after year.
It's clear that this isn't a minor issue. It's a foundational pillar of health. So, how does our body actually know when to sleep and when to be awake? It feels automatic, but there's a complex and beautiful system behind it.
There is. It's an elegant piece of biology. Deep in our brain, in an area called the hypothalamus, we have a tiny cluster of about 20,000 neurons that functions as our master clock. It's the central coordinator for our entire body's 24-hour rhythm, known as the circadian rhythm. But this clock needs to be synchronized with the outside world every day to stay on time. It does this using external cues from our environment. Light, especially sunlight, is the most powerful and well-known cue.
So, when light hits our eyes in the morning, it's like pressing the start button on our internal clock for the day?
Precisely. It sends a powerful signal to that master clock, which then sends signals out to the rest of the body to say, okay, it's daytime, time to be active. But it's not the only cue. Our body temperature also plays a huge role. Our core temperature naturally drops at night to help initiate sleep and rises in the morning to help us wake up. Another big one that people often forget is the timing of our meals. When you eat, you're sending a potent timing signal to your body's clock, especially to organs like your liver and digestive system.
That makes so much sense. It's not just one thing, but the whole pattern of our day. So your entire lifestyle, when you get light, when you eat, when you move, when you work and rest, is constantly sending signals to this internal clock, either helping it stay in a strong, stable rhythm or throwing it completely off and causing chaos in the system.
Exactly. You can have the perfect diet and exercise plan, but if you're eating at erratic times and your light exposure is all over the place, your body's internal systems are in a state of constant confusion, like they have permanent jet lag. And of course, hormones are a huge part of the signaling process. Cortisol is one of the main players.
Right. Cortisol gets a bad rap as the stress hormone, which it is, but it's also our wake up and be alert hormone. It's not inherently bad. It's all about the rhythm.
Perfectly said. It's all about the rhythm. In a healthy cycle, you get a big spike of cortisol about 30 minutes after you wake up. This is a natural and vital process. It's what makes you feel alert, sharp, and ready to take on the day. Then, throughout the day, that level should gradually decrease, reaching its lowest point in the evening to allow you to sleep. There's also a small, natural dip in the afternoon, around 4 p.m.
The classic afternoon slump. So that's a normal part of the rhythm, not necessarily a sign that you need a huge cup of coffee.
Exactly. The problem is when chronic stress enters the picture. The body doesn't get the signal to lower cortisol production. It keeps pumping it out because it perceives a constant threat. So you end up feeling on all the time, wired but tired. Your mind is racing in the evening when you should be winding down, and you lie in bed unable to switch off. Or, eventually, the system can get so exhausted from being on for so long that it just crashes, and you feel completely drained, struggling to get out of bed even after a full night's sleep.
And on the other side of that hormonal coin, we have melatonin, the sleep hormone, or the vampire hormone, as some scientists call it, because it only comes out in the dark.
A great name for it. As it gets dark outside, our brain is supposed to start producing melatonin. This is the signal that tells our body and brain it's time to prepare for sleep. It makes us feel drowsy and ready for bed. But melatonin is incredibly sensitive to light, especially the blue wavelength of light that comes from all our screens, our phones, tablets, TVs, and even bright overhead LED lights in our homes.
I noticed this myself a few years ago. I used to be one of those people who would scroll on my phone in bed right until I turned the light off. I'd feel physically tired, but my mind would be racing. I'd close my eyes and see phantom images from my social media feed. It would take me ages to actually fall asleep. I made a conscious decision to put my phone on a charger across the room an hour before bed and read a physical book instead. The difference was night and day. Within a week, I was falling asleep so much faster, and my sleep felt deeper.
That's a perfect example of cause and effect. That exposure to blue light in the evening basically screams a signal to your brain, hey, it's midday, it's bright daylight, stay awake. So your body's natural, gentle signal to sleep gets completely blocked. It's probably one of the single biggest factors disrupting sleep in our modern world. And it's not just about falling asleep. That light exposure can also delay the onset of your REM sleep and reduce the amount of deep sleep you get.
Okay, so we've established why sleep is so crucial and what can go wrong on a biological level. This is fantastic information, but it can also feel a bit overwhelming. Let's shift into the practical side. If someone listening is thinking, this is me, I'm tired all the time, my rhythm is a mess, what can they do? Where should they start?
That's the key question. And you're right, it can feel overwhelming, so it's important to have a clear order of operations. The absolute, non-negotiable foundation of a healthy sleep rhythm is regularity. This is the first and most important principle. Go to bed around the same time and wake up around the same time every single day.
Even on weekends? That's the tough one for many people. It feels like a reward to sleep in on Saturday.
I know, it's the siren song of the weekend. But sleeping in on Saturday and Sunday, even for just an hour or two, is like giving yourself a mini dose of jet lag every week. You're shifting your entire internal clock. Then on Sunday night, you can't fall asleep at your normal time, and on Monday morning, you have to force yourself awake with an alarm, feeling groggy and awful. That's not just a case of the Mondays, it's a physiological response to a disrupted rhythm. So, as much as possible, stick to your schedule. Aim to be in bed before 11 p.m. and make sure you're getting at least 8 to 9 hours of opportunity to sleep.
Right, so regularity is step one. It's about training your brain and body to expect sleep at a certain time. After that, it naturally follows that we should tackle that blue light issue we talked about.
Yes, that's the second principle, and it's a powerful one. Make it a rule to avoid all screens for at least an hour, ideally 90 minutes, before your scheduled bedtime. Put your phone away. Don't watch TV in bed. If you have to use a device, use a strong blue light filter. But honestly, the best policy is to just disconnect. Let your brain get the natural signal of darkness so it can start its melatonin production on time. Dim the lights in your house in the evening too. Swap bright overhead lights for warmer, dimmer lamps. Create a cave-like environment.
I love that, creating a cave. It's about signaling safety and rest to our primal brain. Okay, so first regularity, then no blue light. What's the third principle?
The third is to work with your body's natural rhythm, not against it. This mainly involves being mindful of stimulants and depressants. Most people know that coffee late in the day is a bad idea, but caffeine has a much longer half-life than people realize. It can be up to 6-8 hours, so that 3 p.m. coffee could still be affecting your sleep at 10 p.m. A good rule of thumb is to avoid any caffeine after midday to ensure it's completely out of your system by the time you want to sleep.
And what about alcohol? A lot of people have a glass of wine to relax in the evening and feel it helps them drift off.
That's one of the biggest and most persistent myths about sleep. Alcohol is a sedative, so it can make you feel drowsy and help you fall asleep faster. But sedation is not sleep. Alcohol severely disrupts your sleep architecture later in the night. It fragments your sleep, meaning you have many tiny awakenings that you don't even remember. And it massively suppresses your REM sleep, which is critical for emotional and mental restoration. So even if you get 8 hours in bed, you wake up feeling mentally and emotionally unrestored. It's best to avoid it in the evening if you're serious about improving your sleep.
Yes, some people always tell me, caffeine doesn't affect me. I never notice anything. And alcohol, oh, that actually helps me sleep better. And I'm like, wow, superhero vibes. Then 2 weeks later, they complain they've been sleeping badly for years and just can't fix it. And I'm always like, start with the basics. But they still deny it could be that. That's a really important. Sedation is not sleep. Okay, so we have regularity, managing light, and avoiding late stimulants. What's number 4?
Number 4 is managing your body temperature. This is a subtle but powerful cue. To fall asleep and stay asleep, your core body temperature needs to drop by a couple of degrees. This is why exercising intensely within 3 hours of bedtime can be disruptive for many people. It raises your core temperature, which is the exact opposite of what your body is trying to do to initiate sleep.
That's interesting. I've heard that a warm shower or bath before bed can help with sleep. How does that work if it warms you up? That seems like a contradiction.
It does seem paradoxical, but it's a brilliant little biohack. When you sit in a warm bath or shower, your body sends blood to the surface of your skin to cool you down. When you get out, those dilated blood vessels on your hands, face, and feet release that heat into the cool air, causing a rapid drop in your core body temperature. That drop is a powerful signal to your brain that it's time for sleep.
Ah, so it's the rapid cooling down after the shower that does the trick. That makes sense. And that leads us to the final principle, which is optimizing the bedroom itself, your physical environment.
Exactly. Your sleep environment is crucial. You want to create a space that is a true sanctuary for sleep, a space that your brain associates only with rest and recovery. We can even go through a quick but detailed checklist for the ideal bedroom.
Let's do it.
First, it needs to be as dark as possible. I mean, pitch black. Light can penetrate your eyelids and even be perceived by your skin. Use blackout curtains. Cover any little LEDs on electronics with black tape. If you can't make the room totally dark, a comfortable sleep mask is a great investment. Second, it needs to be quiet. Our ears are still processing sounds while we sleep. If you have noisy neighbors or live on a busy street, consider using earplugs or a white noise machine to drown out disruptive sounds. And remove anything that could be a psychological distraction or trigger, like a TV or your work laptop. Your bedroom should be for sleep and intimacy, nothing else.
That's a good boundary to set. The brain needs to know that when you enter that room, it's time to switch off. Dark and quiet. What's next?
Cool. The ideal temperature for sleep is around 18 degrees Celsius or 65 degrees Fahrenheit. A cool room helps facilitate that drop in core body temperature we talked about. It's often better to have a cool room and use blankets than to have a warm room. Next is fresh air. A stuffy, poorly ventilated room is not conducive to good sleep. Crack a window open if you can, or consider getting some air purifying plants for the room. And finally, a good bed. You spend a third of your life on your mattress. A bad mattress that causes pain or discomfort is a constant source of low-level disruption to your sleep. Invest in a good quality mattress and pillow that support your body properly. A mattress should generally be replaced every 5 to 10 years.
That's a fantastic checklist. Dark, quiet, cool, fresh, and comfortable. As we're laying all this out, with all these principles and checklists, I think it's important to add one crucial point. Hearing all these rules can feel like another thing to be perfect at, another way to fail or fall short. It's so important to approach all of this with a sense of self-compassion.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Camilla. It's absolutely critical. The goal of all this is to reduce the stress on your system, not to create a new source of stress called sleep anxiety, which is a very real thing. If you start obsessing over getting everything perfect, you'll just lie in bed stressed out about not being relaxed enough to sleep, which is the ultimate paradox.
Exactly. This isn't about forcing yourself into a rigid, stressful system. It's a set of tools to help you. If you have a bad night because you were out with friends or your kid was sick, don't beat yourself up. That just creates more stress and anxiety around sleep. See these principles as a gentle guide to help your body do what it naturally wants to do. It's a support system, not a strict set of rules. Pick one thing to start with, maybe just the no phone in bed rule, and see how that feels. Small steps.
Consistency over perfection, every single time. And the final piece of the puzzle that helps bring all this together in a gentle, consistent way is the power of routines. Having a consistent morning and evening routine can be incredibly powerful for signaling to your body and mind whether it's time to be alert or time to wind down.
I love routines. They provide such a sense of structure and safety in a chaotic world. But again, people can get intimidated by the idea of some elaborate, hour-long routine they see on social media.
And they absolutely don't have to be. The key is to start small, almost ridiculously small. Choose a maximum of 3 simple things for your morning routine and 3 for your evening routine. They can be incredibly short. 1 minute of meditation is infinitely better than 0 minutes. 2 minutes of gentle stretching is better than none. The goal is to make it so easy that you can't say no.
Could you give some examples of what could be in those simple beginner routines?
Sure. For a morning routine, it could be as simple as soon as you get out of bed, drink a full glass of water. Then, while the kettle is boiling, do 5 simple stretches. And last, before you look at your phone, think of one thing you're looking forward to in the day. That's it. It takes 5 minutes. Other options could be taking a quick shower, making a warm drink that isn't coffee, or making your to-do list for the day on paper. The goal is to ease into the day, not jolt yourself into it with a flood of emails and notifications.
And for the evening, how can we create a routine that truly helps us disconnect?
An evening routine is all about winding down and creating a buffer zone between your busy day and sleep. A simple one could be 1. At 9 p.m., you plug your phone into charge across the room for the night. 2. You make a cup of caffeine-free tea like chamomile or peppermint. 3. You read a physical book or a Kindle with the light turned down for 15 minutes. That's it. Other great options are journaling to get thoughts out of your head, listening to calm music, or doing a guided meditation. The specific activities matter less than the consistency. The routine itself becomes a powerful psychological cue for your brain. It starts to learn, we're doing these things in this order, so it must be time to prepare for sleep.
That's a wonderful, actionable way to tie all these principles together. It's not about a massive life overhaul overnight, but about introducing small, consistent, compassionate habits that support our body's natural rhythm. It really empowers you to take control of your energy and well-being in a way that feels achievable.
Absolutely. And when you start to feel the benefits, the increased energy, the clearer mind, the more stable mood, it creates a positive feedback loop. It becomes easier to stick to these habits because you're feeling the rewards so directly in your daily life. It's one of the most impactful things you can do for your mental and physical health, and it's available to everyone, every single night.
Henry, this has been such an insightful and comprehensive conversation. Thank you for breaking it down so clearly and compassionately. And for everyone listening, thank you for investing this time in yourself. Simply by learning about this, by understanding your own biology a little better, you've already taken a powerful, positive step. Join our Mental Journey Guide community for more conversations that can support you in creating the life you truly desire with greater ease, joy, and resilience. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we share mental insights and inspiration every day to help you on your journey. We invite you to help us spread the word by liking, commenting, and sharing this episode. Together, let's reach more people who need it.